We look to try and put in a good performance against an in-form Hallam side as Wakahaman gets us underway. Manor Lakes with first use of the football. Looking to try and start positively and take it to this Hallam forward pack that has been oh so damaging to start the campaign so far. Tuariki, one of their strongest performers in that round 2 clash. Once again looking to lead from the front. Ricky. And an early error in the play of the ball, not the start Manor Lakes were after. Knew they'd have to be at their best if they were going to try and contain this Hallam outfit that possesses strike power right across the park. And just like that early drop ball, an early invitation for Hallam to attack this Manor Lakes defence. 42 points scored across their opening 2 games in 2024, Hallam. 20 points to 14 win over Vic Uni in round 1, and then a 22 points to 6 win over the Grange. So while they can score the points, they haven't leaked all that many either. Early attacking shift. Hammond turns on the afterburners, tries to slip 3, flicks the ball out and gifts it straight back to Manor Lakes, and a big let-off for the Storm Cup newcomers right there. Wakahaman, he had a double in that game against the Grange. Chanced his hand right there and came up empty-handed. My name's Simon Rathbone. It's a pleasure to have your company wherever you're tuning in from around Australia. We're brought to you by Community TV. Sun is shining, perfect conditions for football. Manor Lakes given a penalty to piggyback them out of their own end. So it's been an ill-disciplined start from both teams to start this contest so far. So after Manor Lakes, they took it to Vic Uni in the opening exchanges before last year's premiers ran away with proceedings as the legs began to tire through the middle third of the field. Start their set just shy of halfway. Tuariki first receiver. Ricky standing in the tackle, taken there by Sparrow. Finds himself in the second row after featuring on the wing in that round 2 game in which he scored a try. Seve. Lapuaho running out of real estate. Tuariki wearing the number 5, playing in that lock role. Shift out to this left-hand side, a little bit of time and space available for them. Throws the dummy before he was bundled into touch by the sliding Hallam defence. Looked as though that could have been some promising play before the Hallam defence. It slid nicely, treading water before eventually forcing them out of play and into touch, and they'll get the football back. Hallam haven't had a real look at the football. So the opening couple of minutes, looking to get through their first set right here. Woods. Manor Lakes driving them back and muscling up. Rapetti doing the damage along with Seve. This Hallam forward pack have been dominating so far in 2024, but haven't had their own way to start this contest. Manor Lakes starting strongly. Just the kind of response they were after. Vake. Vake gets the quick play of the ball. Now Hammond. Driving kick into the corner. Turns on a right angle and finds touch. Nice kick from the fullback with the kicking duties right there. Just shows the versatility of Wakahaman, whether he's running the ball. He played at hooker in that round 2 game to cover some injury issues that Hallam faced. Back into his customary fullback role. Melbourne Storm Harold Matthews, under 17s Player of the Year. Sparrow. So that 40-20 giving Hallam a good look at the Manor Lakes defence once again. Took 5 Manor Lakes defenders to bring ground just shy of the post. Out to this right-hand side, Woods putting it through the hands, running a flat line, crashing through, and Hallam have their first try. So the first 5 minutes of the contest. Last year's runners-up flexing their muscles. Just straightening the attack somewhat. Manor Lakes defenders couldn't handle him close to the line. Some nice ball playing from Matatamua. Putting his edge back rower through the hole. And slamming the ball down. 4-0 Hallam, kick to come. Well, after what was a otherwise positive start for Manor Lakes, they find themselves trailing on the scoreboard. They've had some good looks themselves at the Hallam defensive line. In fact, having more possession despite finding themselves trailing on the scoreboard, but as Hallam have done most so often this year, capitalising on their opportunities. I believe it was Ezekiel Tausili who crossed for Hallam. He had a try again that game against the Grange. Keeps the try-scoring form rolling. Just combining with his Harold Matthews teammates, Matatamua. Conversion waved away by Waka Hammond, so 4-0 the score remains. So that try all coming off the back of Hammond's 40-20. It was a perfectly executed kick. Manor Lakes weren't necessarily aware to the danger. The winger still up in the line. Hammond struck it nicely, and as a result, his team finding their first points of the afternoon off the back of it. A response needed from Manor Lakes. Beatty takes it on the chest. Charging in heavy contact, running straight into the shoulder there of Tuariki, who stood his ground. Sparrow. Bounces off the tackle of Manorpo. 2 tackles gone, and they're up to their own 40-metre line. Vaca does in fact get them up over halfway, still wrestling there, and earns his side a penalty. Manuapo not releasing. And in the blink of an eye, Hallam on the verge of another attacking set. Tausili, the try scorer, gets up the second time of asking before a swarm of Manor Lakes defenders eventually bring him to ground. They're set up to this left-hand side, Hallam. They head back towards the post. Woods. Wobbly old ball. Eventually seized there by, I believe it was Beatty, or Sparrow in fact, who dived on the football. There was an opportunity for Manor Lakes to pinch the football. Hesitated slightly, and Sparrow there on the spot to receive the football. Woods straightening, shrugging. Set up to the left and right. To the right they go. Vaca, crash play. Slices through like a knife through butter. It was all too easy, and Alapata Vaca helps himself. Just opened up for the front rower. Couldn't believe his luck. Well, the defensive pressure proving all too much for Manor Lakes on that occasion. Simple crash play. And Alapata Vaca goes bang. So a chance to make it 10-0 after 10 minutes of play in this first half for this round 3 Storm Cup clash here at Seabrook Reserve. Always knew it was going to be a tough challenge for Manor Lakes, coming up against an in-form Hallam outfit. And so far, it's the side in the red and blue that have shown that they've got the attacking threats to cause Manor Lakes all sorts of defensive headaches. Much more straightforward conversion attempt for Hammond, who makes no mistake. So, of course, if you're just joining us, Mount Ridley to take on Vic Uni in the game to follow this double header here at Seabrook Reserve in round 3 of the Storm Cup. At the moment, we have the newcomers, the 5th Academy School, join the competition, Manor Lakes, up against Hallam, who of course are last year's runners-up, going down to Vic Uni in a tight affair in the 2023 Storm Cup final. They shared the title with the Grange in its inaugural season, and they'll be looking to go all the way and claim the silverware this season. With 10 of the Melbourne Storm Harold Matthews players in their side today. The experience they no doubt gained from being part of a system like the Melbourne Storm. Certainly already reaping its benefits in the school competition. And yet another penalty. So far, Manor Lakes, architects of their own demise. Hallam reset. Sparrow bounces away. Manor Lakes once again committing numbers into the tackles, leaves them vulnerable on the edge. Tuma. Fariner. Beatty off the left foot. Thought about reaching out and slamming it down, and Nutty does. Beatty just dives over, planted the football down, and in a matter of minutes, Hallam have their third. Well, the young half just using a bit of footwork close to the line. After that bright start, Manor Lakes, they've been forced into doing a whole lot of defending. Those penalties compounding the issue, and Isaac Beatty gets himself on the try scorer sheet. Hallam well and truly off to the races now. As Hammond adds the extras. 16 points to nil, Hallam leading over Manor Lakes. Just under 15 minutes gone as we reach the halfway point in this first half. The response needed from Manor Lakes to try and rectify the issue. It's all too easy at the moment for Hallam. Isaac Beatty and Alapatavaka won't score much easier tries than that. Just need to improve the discipline. It's the penalties that are hurting them, just piggybacking Hallam out of their own end. Beatty, the try scorer. Wastes little time in handing it off to Tuma. Continue to march at forward, going around the Manor Lakes defence. Eventually brought down by Rapetti. Walker Brown, Rapana Edwards physical in the middle third of the field, the young centre. Courts almost poked his nose out the other side. Picking up the post-contact meters. Now Varana. Beatty slips out of one. Sparrow putting it through the hands. Straightening and going through. Waka Brown, Rapana Edwards. Well, if you keep inviting the fox into the hen house, you're going to invite disappointment into your life. And at the moment, Manor Lakes back to the drawing board. Because Hallam piling on the points for fun as it stands. This time, Waka Brown, Rapana Edwards. Just some ad-lib football. Some quick hands from Sparrow. The young centre who took a nice run in that set, which got them into good field position, just straightening off his left foot, beating his opposite man. 20 points to nil, kick to come. Take this opportunity to run through the team list for both teams. It's been flat out action inside the opening 15 and a bit minutes. For Manor Lakes, fullback Nathaniel Tandy. On the wing, Sape Ionopti, Damien Filisoni, Fred Rapetti, Agape Tafahuma, Josh Lapahu, Jordan Manuapo, Ruben Oriki, Dylan Shansel, Frankie Mimia, Jeremiah Avene, Darius Seve, David Tuariki and Kaino Nefsu. As Hammond has the extras. So after that first miss, 3 conversions on the trot for Waka Hammond, who lines up fullback for Hallam. On the wing, Latrell Courts, Safida Hallett Tuali'i. In the centres, the try scorer Waka Brown, Rapana Edwards and Memphis Wallace. In the halves, Jaden Matatamua and Isaac Beatty. Front row pairing, Alapata Vaka and Tavita Tuma. At hooker, Micah Varana. Jackton Samaeli, Ryder Sparrow, Fina Woods make up the rest of the forward pack. Elijah Waitford, Austin Fleming, LeBron Mayau, Ezekiel Talsili, Kendrick Simeona and Winter Hookie make up the rest of the lineup. They're coached by Janet Billings. So once again, Manor Lakes get us back underway. Varana. Hammond. Hasn't had a whole lot to do with his forwards doing the damage as it stands. Woods plays it out the back, Matatamua. Gets him up over halfway. Manor Lakes desperate just to concede this set. Vaca leaving a trail of destruction in his wake before coughing up the football, and now Tandy brings it back the other way. So Manor Lakes desperate to complete in this set. The error from Vaca just releasing the pressure gauge somewhat slightly. Heavy shot, Sparrow, Woods and Varana coming through. Lapua Hope plays the ball to Ricky with the kick. As Hammond bursts straight through. Well, I just mentioned he's been quiet. Injects himself into the contest, slices straight through the Manor Lakes defence. And after Manor Lakes finally got their hands on the football, Waka Hammond with a nice moment of class. Goes straight through the middle and puts it down under the post. Well, blink and you miss it. Stuff from Hallam right there. Just turning defence into attack. The footwork from Waka Hammond proving all too much. And with 10 minutes remaining in this first half, Hallam up to a 26 points to nil lead. Kick to come. Hammond lining his attempt up. Knocks it over for the extra 2 points. So 28 points nil the score. So already 5 different try scorers for Hallam. Just under 9 minutes remaining in this first half. Lining up to get themselves on the try scorers sheet. Beatty takes it on the chest and brings it back himself. Another one of those Hallam try scorers. Quick play the ball. Varana. Now down this right hand side. Memphis Wallace. Vaca. Varana. Hammond. Looked to pin the ears back before quickly seized upon there by Seve. Varana. Beatty first receiver. Rapana Edwards had to stop and collect the football. 5th and last now for Hallam. Beatty thought about the crossfield kick, puts a little grubber in behind. Tandy well positioned to take it back for Manor Lakes. Seve just stops starting as they try and work it out of their own end. At the moment it's running into a brick wall in the form of the Hallam defence. Just pinning Manor Lakes down their own end. They force the issue and the error comes out. Hallam play the ball. Simeona. Slow play the ball. Varana. Woods. Matatamua. Time and space. Cut out pass from Hammond and they dive over in the corner and Hallam have 6. 6 first half tries. They continue to flex their muscles in this Storm Cup competition. Well, it just opened up for them. Once Hammond got the ball in his hands, it spelt danger. They had the numbers through the cutout pass. I believe it was LeBron Mayo who crossed over the stripe on that far wing. In fact, it might have been Tarsili who grabbed a double. So after a handful of straightforward conversion attempts, this one a little bit more of a challenging proposition for Waka Hammond, all the way out on the far sideline. We have seen a strong breeze in a number of the Storm Cup clashes in the opening rounds, but the breeze not playing much of a role here this morning. Strikes it nicely, but it's waved away. So as it stands, Hallam doing what was expected of them, coming out and putting in a strong first half performance. No doubt, still valuable experience for this Manor Lakes side. getting to test themselves up against some of the best of the Melbourne Storm Harold Matthews players that represented the club this season. Now wearing their school colours and doing it with pride. Elijah Waitford, another one of those Harold Matthews players, enters the fray. Handy play to bring off the bench for Janan Billings. Beatty gets them up just shy of halfway. Mayer. Waitford to play the ball. Hammond. Valina. Straightening. Woods. Wrestled to ground by Tuariki. Can they add another before the break? Hammond sends it high up into the sky. Testing out Tandy. Runners coming through. Tandy takes well. Manor Lakes now looking to work it out of trouble. Tandy taking another run. The fullback chiming in to help out his forwards through the middle third of the field. Tuariki. Manor Lakes lone Harold Matthews representative earns his side a penalty. Waitford the guilty party on this occasion. It's a wobbly old kick but finds touch regardless. So Manor Lakes in no real rush to get play back underway, just collecting their breaths after defending for nearly 20 minutes straight, it must be said. Vene driven back. Tatamua lost the headgear. Heavy contact. Forces the pill loose. Woods and Co getting in and under the rib cage. And with 2 minutes remaining in this first half, a chance for Hallam to grab their 7th try. They feed the scrum. Beatty. Rupana Edwards hands it out. Hallett to Ali. Hurdles over Rapetti before eventually being chopped to ground. Now they straighten. May out. Ball comes loose. Sigh of relief for the Manor Lakes defence. Actually, was a real opportunity down the blind side there. All the Manor Lakes defenders had rushed back to cover in around the post. Chance to pick that up from dummy half and just scoot over. Could have caught the Manor Lakes defence napping, but instead they went back in towards the post, and Mayout coming up with the error. Now Manor Lakes looking to try and close out this first half. Down by 32, but still chipping away through the middle third of the field. To Ricky on the inside. Picking up some post-contact meters before being driven back as the Hallam defenders got back there in numbers. Rupana Edwards finding himself in the middle of the field after starting the game in that left centre position. Shansell goes out to this left-hand side, and they're picked up once again. Physicality of this Hallam defence, relentless. As the half-time siren sounds. Player down there for Manor Lakes, as both teams will take a rest. It's Hallam. It's been a dominant first half performance. Hallam will have first use of the football in the second half. We're underway. Beatty, early shift. Now bring it back with some vigour. Woods to play the ball. They'll start their set in their own 30-metre line. Now Varana breaking tackles for fun and gets them up to halfway. Matatamua charging onto it. Manor Lakes backpedaling. Tausili, 2 tries already, gets up. Thought about the offload before eventually being heaved to the ground. Spread to this left-hand side. Waitford straightens. Seized upon by Tuariki. Go down this left-hand side, switch of play. Now throws the dummy. Good ball and all tackle. Brought down in front of the post. Some desperate goal line defence coming up trumps right there from Manor Lakes. Positive start to their second half. In a game in which they've been tested defensively, they come up with the goods right there. That was no easy task bringing the big man to ground. Oh, the sprinklers coming on. Bit of wet weather footy perhaps to test out both teams. Sun is shining down here at Seabrook Reserve. So just waiting for the sprinklers to be turned off as both players just have a bit of fun with the water spraying on them, cool them down somewhat with the sun shining. So a chance for both teams to reset. Just on 2 minutes played in this second half. Manor Lakes, they were put under pressure early defensively. Came up with the goods to stop Hallam, who will be looking to continue to pile on the points in this second half. So this will be Hallam's last game for a little while, given they have the bye in round 4. The next game coming on June 19, when they take on Mount Ridley, who of course Mount Ridley, they'll be in action after this game finishes, taking on Vic Uni as part of the doubleheader here at Seabrook Reserve. Head coach Janet Bellings in the pre-game saying he was hoping to see some expansive football from his side with his big man doing the damage through the middle third of the field. He said having some versatility with their forwards, having the ability to pass the ball as well as run it hard themselves, making them a more dynamic and versatile team in 2024, and we've seen that so far. Often the likes of Woods, Varana, Sparrow, even Waitford, taking on the ball, playing duties. You saw in that first half, Hallam, they muscled up defensively, made it tough for Manor Lakes. They forced a few errors as they tried to work it out of their own end. So 74 points already scored across their games this season. Still, of course, a whole half of football to be played once this sprinkler issue is resolved. Pleasingly for Hallam, it's been their defensive resilience. They showed in round 1 when they took on Vic Uni. It was a grand final replay. They had Waka Hammond sent off to the sin bin inside the final 10 minutes, repelling wave after wave of the Vic Uni attack to triumph with that 20 points to 14 win. They would love to keep Manor Lakes to 0 here this morning. And even in that game against the Grange, keeping an arch rival to just the 6 points. Pleasing signs for Jenna Billings and this team with the strike power that they offer right across the park. Certainly making them a dangerous proposition moving forward for all teams. So as I touched on earlier already, a number of different try scorers for Hallam: Waka Hammond, Waka Brown, Rapana Edwards getting in on the try scoring action, along with Isaac Beatty. Ezekiel Tausili has 2 as well. Both teams came out of a half-time break raring to go and just been put on pause momentarily as both teams collect their thoughts. So the break does give us an opportunity to look ahead towards the game that will follow this one. Matt Ridley taking on Vic Uni. Vic Uni, of course, coming up 32 points to 4 winners over Manor Lakes in round 2. Still yet to see Mount Ridley in action after their round 1 game against the Grange. It's been put forward to a further time. Mount Ridley, they've been in and about the Storm Cup competition, battling away with the likes of the Grange and Hallam for the past couple of years. They're trying to put themselves into the title contention race. So with the sprinkler issue still not resolved, we'll take a short break, just as the players are doing, while we wait for it to be resolved and play to get back underway. And we'll hopefully proceedings can resume once more very quickly. And while after the delay, play will get back underway. Sprinkler issues resolved. And Manor Lakes can resume their set, working out off their own line. Down 32 points to 0 at the start of this second half. Come with a good stop to deny Hallam before that break of play. Both teams refreshed and ready and back underway. But they're going to be asked to go back and do it again for the second time of asking. So finally, the football resumes. Hallam muscling up, pushing them back as they try and make some metres. Shanzell didn't have a runner to choose from. Quickly seized upon by the Hallam defence. And the Lakes need to find some energy here to bring it up off their own line. Just caught flat-footed at the moment. Never easy after big break in play. Tuariki chancing his hand, tries an audacious chip kick over the top. Punter Edwards tracking back to collect the kick for Hallam. High risk, high reward play there from Tuariki, and his side now back under defensive pressure. Wallace drifting cross field. Mayau, Waitford pins the ears back, goes through the other side, runs towards Tandy. Brought him down the last line of defence along with Manuopo. They tried the crash play from dummy half. And the points continue to flow for Hallam. This time just darting over from close range. Scooping up the football. Just like that, Hallam have their first points of the second half. So it was LeBron Miao who scored the 4-pointer. He's come on into the hooker position in place of Mika Varana. Just rotating through those positions. Given the comfortable lead that they have, Hammond makes it 38-0. His fifth successful conversion for the afternoon. His only two he's missed have been tougher attempts out on the far sideline. So Manor Lakes in no real rush to bring the ball back up to halfway. Needing to reset defensively to stop the free-flowing nature of these points that are being scored by Hallam. Manuopo underway, and once again onto the chest of Beatty. Waitford steaming onto it. Goes straight through the other side. Eventually dragged to the turf by Tuariki. Beatty barely had a chance to blink before Waitford had the ball in his hands, steaming onto it. Now Sparrow keeps rolling it forward for Hallam. Farina, first receiver, throws the dummy straight through. Tandy sets chase. Audacious flick pass. And Woods goes over. We'll grab the popcorn, sit back and enjoy, because Hallam are putting on a show at Seabrook Reserve. Mika Varana just showed the dummy, went through the other side. Looked as though Tandy had done enough to bring him to ground. But he wasn't content to stop things right there. The no-look flick pass. Phoenix Woods on the spot to collect the football and put it down. 2 tries in a matter of minutes. You just see the forwards beginning to tire for Manor Lakes, having done oh so much defending in that first half. Just took the show and go. A little bit of footwork close to the line from Mika Varana. Just caught them napping. Went straight through the other side and found Woods. 44-0. Mika Varana having his fingerprints all over that 4-pointer. Manawapo drives long in a carbon copy of what transcribed a few minutes ago. Beatty takes on the chest, this time a shift off the back of the kickoff. Putting it through the hands, going to be ruled a forward pass. Right intentions there from Hallam, just getting their wires crossed on that occasion. Immediately shifting it off the back of the kickoff, trying to expose Manor Lakes down his left-hand edge. Just had a few players still tracking back from the kickoff, and as a result, the forward pass being pinged. So after conceding those two earlier tries, a chance perhaps for Manor Lakes to find some joy with ball in hand. They scored a late try in that loss to Vic Uni. They would love to grab a 4-pointer right here. Tandy, been one of their best in what's been a tough performance for them. Reliable contributor at fullback. Tuariki. They won't get better opportunities than this. Ball in hand, 10 metres out from the Hallam line. Mimi out. Brought down in front of the post. Slow play the ball. He's lost the ball in the play the ball. Little bobble. And a collective sigh from the Manor Lakes players. They know just how golden of an opportunity that was. They haven't seen all that much of the Hallam defensive line. Coughing up the football right there to give it back. So we've already seen Hallam's willingness to shift it on the back of the scrum. Seen that on display in the opening 2 games of the season. Beatty kicks it long, and it's a foot race. Charging forward, Hammond. Open air in front of him. He needs the bounce. He toes it ahead. He's in a foot race with Tandy. Tandy gets back. Hammond kicks it ahead. Looking to bring it down before the dead goal line. Stunning from Hallam. They go the length of the field. Waka Hammond, he had to get creative. He towed it ahead. Tandy set chase. And he wins the race to the football. Well, I just said a few moments ago they weren't afraid to shift it on the back of the scrum. Isaac Beatty, he noticed that there was no one at home for Manor Lakes. And the pace of Waka Hammond on full effect right there. Tandy did well to almost come up with the goods for Manor Lakes, but Waka Hammond did enough and wins the race to the football. It's a highlight reel for Hallam to savour right there. Going the length of the field. There's a chance now for Hammond to make it 50. And Hammond brings up the half century. Just under 19 minutes remaining in this second half. Hallam showing they can score from anywhere on the park. Hammond grabs his second. This time in the form of a length of the field effort. Isaac Beatty had the vision. Executed the kick to a tee. Hammond was hoping for the bounce. Just poked along off his knee. Towed it ahead once again is now Waitford. Breaks free with ease. Numbers on the inside and out. Tandy brushed away. Looking for a runner on the inside. Waitford, he started it and he finishes it. 2 length of the field tries in the matter of seconds for Hallam. Get out the party poppers, because the party has well and truly started right here at Seabrook Reserve. Disappointment for Manor Lakes. It's just getting away for them now. Waitford went through with ease. Found Halatuali'i on that far side, and his winger pops the ball back on the inside. And Waitford, who's provided some impact after coming off the bench, grabs his first try of the afternoon. Well, Waka Hamming certainly getting some goal-kicking practice. His 11th attempt for the contest so far. He's only missed twice, and now a trickier proposition for the young fullback. Hammond steps in, sends it high up into the sky, and across the face it goes. Well, a picture tells 1,000 words for Manor Lakes at the moment. Shuffling their way back to halfway. Two tries that started inside Hallam's half, adding an exclamation mark to this already strong performance. Manuapo. Wait for the try scorer. Hammond, shift, Woods, bring it through the hands, straighten, runners to his left and to his right. They go out to that right-hand side. Tausili had to pick it up from around the bootlaces, and off the kickoff, they score once again. Hallam sending a message. They are some scary proposition in the Storm Cup in 2024. Tausili grabs a hat-trick. They put on the shift on the back of the kickoff. And just as they've done in their past 2 tries, Hallam got the length of the field. This time Ezekiel Tausili. He had a try against the Grange. He has 3 this afternoon. Things going from bad to worse for Manor Lakes at Seabrook Reserve. Well, they were lining up to get on the try scorer's sheet. Your numbers to his left and to his right. He went to his edge back rower. That's Hammond's attempt. Probably his worst of the afternoon. The only real negative out of what has been an otherwise polished performance. So what can Manor Lakes come up with here? Scoreline getting away from them, 58 points to 0. Hallam showcasing their quality right across the park. They've just about scored every type of try you could muster. Still 12 and a half minutes for them to pile on more points at Seabrook Reserve. Beatty on to Waitford. Full of running. Another shift off the kickoff. Tandy back in cover. The fullback with a tough job to stop a runaway Samieli, and the fullback does extremely well. Waitford first receiver. Jinking slips out of the tackle of Tandy. Set to this right and left. Straightening, running, weaving through traffic, and this time Hallett Tuali'i. He dives over. The floodgates well and truly open now. Well, after scoring 32 points in the first half, Hallam have had another 30 with still 11 minutes to play in the second. Back to the drawing board for Manor Lakes. They really dropped away in the past 5 or so minutes. Michael Varana with the goal kicking responsibilities. His first attempt of the afternoon waved away. Hammett, he's had 12 shots from the goal kicking tee, and this time it's Michael Varana who took the shot, and his attempt waved away. So 62 points to nil, the score remains. .24 performance from Wakahaman. 8 conversions to go with his 2 tries. Ezekiel Tausili has got a hat-trick to his name. Plenty of storylines to take out of this contest for Hallam. The big man through the middle third of the field has done the damage in the first half. The sheer amount of defending that Manor Lakes did in that first half, all coming to a head in this second half as Hallam run riot. Beatty, Waitford, Hammond, Woods. Told to hold the football, not getting ahead of themselves. Varana shows the dummy brought down just shy of halfway. 2 tackles used. Hammond, first receiver, straight through, takes on Tandy and breezes past with ease. And Hammond grabs a hat-trick. Make that 28 points for him. Across the 50 minutes, the fullback breezes through. Five tries in his past 2 games for Wakahaman, the under-17s Melbourne Storm. Harold Matthews Player of the Year. Jackton Samaeli, the new goal kicker for Hallam. Nice and easy conversion attempt right in front of the post. So once again, just a reminder, Mount Ridley versus Vic Uni to follow this game. Doubleheader here at Seabrook Reserve as part of round 3 of the Storm Cup. Mount Ridley, their first appearance in 2024, taking on last year's premiers. Vic Uni 1 loss and 1 win. Their loss coming against Hallam in that grand final replay in round 1 before they themselves had a 32 points to 4 win over Manor Lakes. times already. Hands to two. Goes again. Open space. Tried to link up with Aaron. The ball was put. And eventually they produced an error and let off for man. To a Ricky. Talfahima. Back and slow to release. Slow play the ball as a result. To Ricky. Ball put down. Scooped up. Watch out. Here we go. Puts the foot down. Tandy coming across. Gets away from the fullback. And Samaeli. He picked up the scraps. And cashes in for a 4-pointer of his own. Well, Manor Lakes, they had a chance to score some points. Coughed up the pill and Jackson Samaeli scooped it up and set sights for the try line. Safida Halat-Tuili will take this conversion attempt from in front. So after Wackerhammon had the first 12, just rotating through, just some extra goal kicking practice for other members of the starting 13. Well, after a tough schedule to start their 2024 campaign, coming up against Vic Uni and the Grange, Hallam showing they can also pile on the points when the game opens up like it has for them in this second half. Helping 74 points scored. Certainly sending a statement to the other teams in the competition. This Hallam side with all those Harold Matthews players I should say, that I've mentioned for them. They finished with 8 wins. They finished 8th, I should say, with the 2 wins and 2 draws. That experience certainly reaping the benefits in the school football at the moment. But Tatamua slips out of one tackle. Tandy once again with the defensive duties. Hallam lining up. Hammond puts the chip in behind with Tandy caught in the defensive line, chases his own kick and wins the race to the football with ease. Hammond has 4. Heads up play from the Hallam fullback. Well, you could just see Tandy, he was forced to make the tackle on Matatamua, who had broken through the defensive line. Hammond spotted that and cashed in with his 4th try. It's a bit of a roulette at the moment who'll take the goal kicking duties. This time, Waka Brown Rapana Edwards. Halat-Tuili passed his audition with his attempt from in front, and now chance for the left centre to knock one over and add an extra 2 points to his name. having scored a 4-pointer in the first half. And that he does. So 80 points to nil. Hallam, it has been some performance from them. 2.5 minutes remain. And given the nature in which they have scored these tries in the second half, dare say there could be time for one or two more perhaps. Beatty allowing the ball to bounce before bringing it back. Brushes away Lapuaho. Now upon Edwards. To a Ricky. Manawapo muscling up. Nice moment there for Manor Lakes. Beatty caught flat-footed. Simeona. Just over a minute remains. Hammond, Vaca, just standing before offloading. So I think he might have been pinged for the forward pass, which has resulted in a penalty. Just a chance for Manor Lakes perhaps to find a little bit of joy in what's been a tough performance for them. Never going to be easy coming up against a quality opposition like Hallam. While it has gotten away from them in this second half, given the amount of defending they did in the first and the quality of the opposition, the inflated scoreline coming as a huge surprise, but a great inclusion for them to be part of this competition. Valuable experience for their players. Playing right until the final whistle right here. Manawapo in a dummy half. Lofts it out the direction of Tuariki. Tandy gets the late offload. Lapuaho seized upon as the full-time siren sounds. Last play, one last roll of the dice. Hammond brings it back. Looking to put the icing on the cake, runs into his own player. Forced to retreat back towards the middle third of the field. Vaca now gets past one, hands it off. Varana to a Ricky coming across in chase. Fends away and adds an exclamation mark on what has been a memorable Hallam performance in the Storm Cup. Varana hands it off to Hammond, who grabs 5. It's a gift. And what a performance from a side looking to go all the way in 2024. Disappointment for Manor Lakes. Tough ask of them. Hallam doing what was expected and producing a strong performance here at Seabrook Reserve. Waka Hammond, 5 tries, 8 goals to his name, continuing his strong form to his Storm Cup campaign. Ezekiel Tassili also grabbing a hat-trick, and a number of Hallam players getting on the scorer's sheet. So 84 points to nil. Hallam victors over Manor Lakes in round 3 of the Storm Cup. Of course, we have Mount Ridley taking on Vic Uni in a matter of minutes this game to follow this one here at Seabrook Reserve. So we'll take a short break and be back with the second game. Hallam proving too good for Manor Lakes in round 3 of the Storm Cup.